Today, we are breaking down the exact moment Ippo Makunouchi almost returned to the rings, and why this particular moment may have secretly changed the future of the entire store. Stay with me until the end. After watching and analyzing important fights of Mashima and Miyata, Ippo discovered something extremely important, and then goes to the Kamogawa gym to train with the punching bag. Coach Kamogawa appears outside, hearing interesting sounds coming from inside his gym. He enters and sees Ippo training with the punching bag and asks what he is doing, since he is retired. Ippo tells the coach it's just a review. Kamogawa wants to know what it's about, so Ippo tells the coach that now that he can observe boxing from the outside, he was able to see something important clearly. Watch Mashima and Miyata's fights, he noticed something common. The coach is curious to know. Ippo says it was something he forgot. Kamogawa looks attentively at his disciple. Ippo says that after losing to Date, he looked for a solution, which is how he came up with the Dempsey rule, but it was also how he lost something important in his boxing. Kamogawa asks what that would be. Ippo hits the bag and says, "My left." Ippo says that whenever Miyata and Mashima were in trouble or panicked, they would throw a punch, and that punch was always to the left. Ippo continues his reflection, saying that this way they never lost the initiative. They would make the first move and stay in control, but he always waited to make the second move, and only thought about dodging the punch and diving for the attack. Here, Ippo continues with a deeper reflection, saying that his strategy was always to dodge and then dive for the attack as deep as he could, so he could hit his opponent with the Dempsey roll. Ippo acknowledges his mistake, saying he was too presumptuous, trusting himself too much, only paying attention to diving for the attack. Kamogawa continues to listen attentively to his disciple as he goes on to say that first of all, what the coach thought was hit before being hit, but Ippo says he completely forgot about that. Here Ippo enters a deeper reflection, fully acknowledging his mistake. He wonders how he could have let himself forget it, how he lost something so simple, something so fundamental. He says he was too sure of himself and that he was an idiot. And before he knew it, he had already ignored what the coach had taught him. So lose was inevitable. However, Coach Kamogawa disagrees. Here we have a rather profound moment in the world. Ippo and Kamogawa reflecting, with two different points of view. Kamogawa says that the Brat's boxing clearly changed after he found the Dempsey rule, and that the Brat's left jab was used significantly less. Then Kamogawa reflects on what a jab really is. The coach leaves his cane with Ippo and approaches the punching bag. Ippo wonders what a left is. Kamogawa prepares and throws a perfect jab at the punching bag. Ippo is impressed by his coach's left hand, so Kamogawa asks Ippo to translate his words. Ippo is a little confused, but Kamogawa says one of the most important phrases in the world of boxing. The person who controls the left controls the world. The Brat looks at his coach in amazement and says he's seen that 1,000 times in magazines. He who controls his left controls the world. Kamogawa says that even though it's an old saying, it remains true even today. One could say it's the very foundation of boxing. Here Kamogawa enters a profound moment, teaching his disciple what the jab is all about. He says that although the jab is a simple punch, there are variations in how it can be used. Jabs to gauge distance, jabs to stop movement, jabs to keep an opponent at a distance, jabs to establish rhythm, jabs to accumulate damage, jabs to distract them, jabs to prepare the next strike. It can be used from afar or up close. It can be a spear, a sword, or an axe. If you can master the use of that blade and put it to your opponent's necks, then you can decide the entire fight. Do that enough and you will control the world. That's what it means. Then Ippo tells Kamogawa that because he forgot this, losing was inevitable. The coach says, "You think so?" Then he continues, "Ever since you won the Dempsey roll, you stopped using jabs and lost. But do you really think you could have won without the Dempsey roll?" Kamogawa continues explaining to Ippo that his training should have made this very clear, so that he wouldn't think of it as the reason for his defeats, but rather as having neglected his jabs to achieve victories. Here the situation becomes more profound. Kamogawa begins to recall with emotion and enthusiasm when Ippo advances with unparalleled courage. He sees the image of Ippo in his head inside the ring transforming into a blade and piercing forward beautifully. Here things get extremely deep. Ippo says that now he understands this, using the jab and then building with the Dempsey roll. Here, Ippo's emotions are high. He says that if he hadn't forgot what his coach taught him, he would have been able to meet expectations better. He continues to say that he was an idiot. This is where we arrive at the key moment of the video. This conversation with the coach ended up triggering something in Ippo. Here, the brat truly felt the urge to fight again after his discovery. He says that now that he's realized this, he can't help but now we arrive at the most important moment. This is where Ippo would practically declare that if he did things differently this time, he could probably fight again. Then we see Ippo with wide eyes looking at Kamogawa. The coach places his hand on Ippo's boxing glove and tells the boy with great wisdom to go and teach his disciples the things he could and couldn't do, the things he has studied, the things he knows after observing from the outside. Kamogawa continues telling Ippo to teach everything to his disciples who depend so much on him. Then Kamogawa enters his home after that. Ippo appears totally shocked by what he heard. He thinks to himself that even if he ignored the coach's teachings, even if he forgot what the coach taught him, the coach was still praising him. Here, Ippo's emotions are running high. The coach used it to always reprimand Ippo while he was fighting, but now Ippo clearly missed that. He wonders why the coach didn't reprimand him as usual. Then he realizes it's because he is retired. A feeling of anger overwhelms Ippo. He turns towards the punching bag and delivers an extremely powerful punch, which echoes throughout the academy. The scene changes and shows Kamogawa's serene reaction inside the room, with a feeling that he did the right thing, but that he still has a great feeling and longing for his fighter when he was fighting as a champion. The scene returns to the sandbag, which slowly stops swinging after Ippo's powerful punching, and he slowly falls to his knees, devastated that his request was not granted by his beloved coach. Without a doubt, this was the moment when Ippo came closest to returning from retirement. This conversation with Coach Kamogawa triggered very strong emotions in the boy. Do you also think this was the closest the boy came to returning? Tell us what you think in the comments, subscribe to the channel and share this specific moment in the story with more people.